Michael. I just wanted to say welcome to the Planning Commission. I don't think I've been here since you have been coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate you taking your time to do this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Some of our meetings run a little longer than others, but we usually have a student representative, and we always tell them to not stay here until it's too late. So, but we appreciate you taking your time to do this.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy to be here.
Chairman, are you ready for me to start?
I am with the Commissioner Sinclair's picture's not back up there. I don't know about anybody else.
It's been 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay, let's get started again then.
Yeah, in case you didn't look at what was emailed out earlier today, there's 19 pages of public comments, so this probably will take a little while. But at least I can practice my reading skills, I guess.
And that's the reason for our break.
All right, so the first comment is from Rich Crompton. He's at 11118 Ferry Hills Boulevard. He had a comment for, it really wasn't necessarily directly related to agenda item number 8, and that was the COUP, Mixed Use Town Center item. He says, I support the changes proposed by this agenda item, which maintain the piece central to a mixed-use residential/commercial town center area. Thank you for continuing to take resident feedback into consideration to update the COUP, which drives a lot of the decisions made by this commission. The effort to buffer the residential piece and potential developments for the mixed-use town center is appreciated. He had a comment on agenda item number 10. I appreciate the effort to make public comment protocol consistent between various town affiliate meetings. It only makes sense and ensures all residents are treated equally with respect to sharing their comments for town officials. And then for this item, agenda item number 12, I'd like to thank this commission and the town of Farragut for dedicating so much of their time over the years toward planning a town center area, and more recently for working with developers toward an actual plan for the old Croker area. The plan is not perfect, but it is mostly in line with what the town had planned for a town center. Thanks for all that you do, Rich Crompton. Jeffrey Kendall, next comment. 12804 Pecos Road. As public comment is being submitted regarding the Ivy Farms development, the flooding issues at Pecos Road have finally been mitigated. However, residents are greatly concerned with the height of the lot adjacent top of Pecos Road. It is about 20 to 25 feet high and creates a substantial runoff threat to our neighbors to the north, the Lupinis. We has that, I guess it said meant heard, that the commission ensure town engineer and staff re-examine the design being implemented by Goodall Homes to ensure that there's no adverse impacts in the long run. Also, the issues over the development's non-compliance with the International Fire Code remain. I've raised this numerous times since July. I asked the commission to direct the town administrator, David Smoke, to respond to our last request for the town's position on the clear non-compliance with the 2012 International Fire Code Section D104.3 that relates to having two separate fire apparatus access roads a certain distance apart. The next comment is from Joyce Sayers, 12812 Pecos Road. As the Ivy Farm development continues to proceed at rapid pace, as is already evidenced by the Pecos Road connection, I have concerns regarding the inevitable construction of Union Road and what the sequencing plans are for traffic while Union Road is under construction. It was my understanding that no traffic would be diverted through Saddle Ridge while Union Road is under construction. As we all know, that Pecos Road is not equipped to handle additional traffic from the safety standpoint. No sidewalks and longer straightaway. And I would ask that both the town of Farragut and Goodall Homes be good neighbors and respect the residents of Saddle Ridge by keeping the connection closed until such time when Union Road construction is completed. The next comment, Cherie Skinner, 12854 Pecos Road. First, I would like to thank you all for correcting the flooding issues on the Pecos Road from Ivy Farms construction. I'm pleased to see that the debris down our street is now maintained appropriately. I'd like to create this email today to inform you of my concerns with the Ivy Farms Pecos Road connection for vehicular traffic. My main concern is safety. Throughout Saddle Ridge is a high volume of pedestrian traffic by foot, bike, and other means as homeowners and their families make their way to the clubhouse, pool, tennis courts, playground, and lending library, as well as walk their pets. Due to the fact that our neighborhood was built in the late 80s and early 90s, we do not have sidewalks or traffic calming measures of any kind. The impact of having a straight connection through Pecos Road to Saddle Ridge Drive, along with the heavy pedestrian traffic, will undoubtedly create unnecessary safety and health risks to the residents of Saddle Ridge. As previously stated by Saddle Ridge HOA, a mutual compromise would be for the commission to allow the Pecos Road connection to go forward, but that it be designed strictly for emergency vehicle use and pedestrian traffic. This could easily be accommodated through the installation of gate bollards or raised bank sidewalk walking path with a sign, each of which would satisfy the town's desire for alternative emergency access points in and out of Ivy Farms and for additional pedestrian bicycle connectivity. If a gate were used and it were determined by the residents of Saddle Ridge, Ivy Farms at a later date that there was some sort of compelling reason to open the access way to regular vehicular traffic in the future, and it could be examined at that time. We're in opposition to Pecos Road being opened up to regular vehicular traffic from Ivy Farms. My family asks that you strongly consider approving the gate, which would satisfy the emergency entrance issue and allow for pedestrian bike traffic while also serving to prohibit vehicular traffic that Saddle Ridge is not prepared for. As stated above, we ask for town staff to consider the broader policy trade-offs between having regular vehicular connectivity, which is unnecessary, and ensuring safety and well-being of the Saddle Ridge residents. I appreciate your time and consideration on this matter. Next item is Tim Sayers, 12812 Pecos Road. Following are my comments I would like to have read September 17, 2020, Farragut Municipal Planning Commission meeting during the citizens forum portion of the meeting. I'm also requesting that they be distributed to the members of the FMPC prior to the meeting. My name is Tim Sayers, and I live at 12812 Pecos Road, which is located in the Saddle Ridge subdivision. These comments reflect the position of myself and my wife Joyce. I have several topics that I would like to address. The first topic is about height grading of what I believe is lot 32 in the Ivy Farms development. As you're in the Saddle Ridge subdivision standing at the end of Pecos Road facing the Ivy Farms development, this is the first lot on the left in the Ivy Farms development. It is adjacent to the lot at 12805 Pecos Road. This grading of this lot contributes to the stormwater runoff issues as an eyesore due to its height. This lot is at least 10 feet higher than the original grading of the land prior to the Ivy Farms development. It will be even more of an eyesore when a 2-story house is built on it. Please see the attached pictures, which I did email those to you all earlier today. I request that these pictures be shown on the overhead projector during the MPC meeting and also distributed to the members of the MPC. If the members of the MPC have not been to the end of Pecos Road to see how unsightly the grading of this lot is, I'm requesting they come and take a look at it. My next topic is to continue construction traffic going to and from Ivy Farms development using Union Road. MPC and town staff have committed that this would not be permitted. I'm requesting that signs saying no construction traffic be posted on North Hobbs Road and or Union Road to deter construction traffic coming off of Kingston Pike from Union Road, and also on Union Road where Ivy Farms development connects to Union Road to deter construction traffic leaving the Ivy Farms development from using Union Road. I'm requesting that someone from the town lets me know if these will be installed. My next topic is that I'm still concerned about stormwater runoff, including soil from the Ivy Farms development in the Saddle Ridge subdivision area of Pecos Road. While after multiple revisions of stormwater runoff control has been done by the developer of Ivy Farms, the amount of stormwater runoff has decreased. There still is some stormwater runoff when it rains. Currently, there are multiple barriers in place to divert and stop the stormwater runoff. When the construction is finalized and the barriers are removed, there will be larger amounts of stormwater runoff. My last topic is that I continue to believe that 2 entrances to Ivy Farms do not comply with the Farragut provisions regarding remoteness. Last month I had commitments that had precluded me from spending time on this. Now that those commitments have been taken care of, I'm continuing to pursue this issue. Town of Farragut Good All Homes still has a chance to be good neighbors and listen to the voice of the people who are residents of Town of Farragut and neighbors in the new development of the Ivy Farm property. I'm once again asking the Town of Farragut and Good All Homes to be good neighbors in regards to activities and issues related to the Ivy Farms development. I appreciate the time and effort that the MPC members devote to the MPC. I also appreciate the opportunity to submit these comments. Thank you. The next items are going to relate to the town center project. First one is from Joe and Brenda King. Joe and Bretta King. I'm in favor of developing the old Kroger property as an upscale business community, but to add 291 apartments to the already overcrowded Concord Road area opposite Concord Hills is insane. Concord Hills has always been an upscale area, and the addition of 291 apartments, not condos, with at least 500 parking spaces would worsen the already overcrowded traffic on Concord Road. Even with the addition of a traffic light at our entrance, bring in rentals into our area will not only decrease our property values, but add to the worsening overcrowding of our schools. Also, I'm against raising the height limits of these buildings, which would violate the already legal Farragut approved height restrictions. We are not against progress, but our progress must be reasonable and consistent while maintaining the value and beauty of our community. Next is from Kate and Bill Serene at 11203 Crown Point Drive. Good evening. My husband and I are 5-year residents in Farragut and live in Concord Hills. We moved here specifically to live outside of the metropolitan area, but still close enough to enjoy the benefits of nearby Knoxville. We are deeply concerned about the proposed high-density housing on Concord Road in the old Kroger area. This will absolutely change Farragut and make it an undesirable place for those of us that worked hard to afford this area. We moved to the community for a reason. It's quiet, family-friendly, low crime, and a high quality of life. Much of that is due to the fact that this is largely a single-family home community. Those that choose to live here, myself included, value those things makes sense. Why not build apartments in the middle of Sequoia Hills so everyone can live that lifestyle? Bottom line here is that you get to live in Farragut if you can afford to purchase a single-family home. Then you get the benefit of the community as it is now, quiet, peaceful, low crime, great schools, etc. If this proposal is passed, it will obviously lower property values and make Farragut a less desirable destination for family. Living outside the city, Farragut will certainly lose its appeal to families. If property values decrease, schools become massively overcrowded and traffic becomes unbearable. Those issues will all cost money in the long run, and if crime increases, it becomes a safety issue, and I guess we'll need more police. And let's not forget that at least 2 other apartment complexes are already in the works in Farragut. It's ridiculous to think that Farragut needs 3 apartment complexes. I have spoken to many of our neighbors and fellow residents, and I've yet to find more than a few people in favor of this. I did receive an email from Mayor Williams, and he referenced the survey sent out years ago regarding mixed use in this location. I've been here 5 years, and it was before my time. A year ago, survey is not acceptable. Residents now are not in favor. If they truly were, there would be no problem sending out a more current, clear survey regarding the use of this property. Since the mayor clearly stated that he would vote in favor of this because the majority want it, then I respectfully ask that you prove the majority want it. I would gladly give up new shops and restaurants directly in Farragut to maintain the community feeling here. I would much rather pay more in taxes than permanently ruin the area. I thank you for taking the time to hear our thoughts on this and hope you take them into consideration. Next comments from Scott, Ann, and Liam Wilkerson. 10816 Farragut Hills Boulevard. We heard about the proposed rezoning of the old Kroger Biddles Farm property and would like to express our concerns. While mixed use with restaurants and retail sounds awesome in that abandoned commercial area, hundreds of apartment dwellings could be problematic. I would welcome new Farragut residents, but I would challenge the developer to do 2 things. 1, invest in the 3 Farragut schools to expand them to handle the load of hundreds of additional kids. This investment would have to be enough to eliminate the 20-year-old temporary buildings my child finished 3rd grade in, which are moldy, road-infested, and suffer HVAC issues all school year. 2nd, invest in road infrastructure to ensure Concord Road doesn't see the brunt of ingress and egress. It simply cannot handle more traffic. The developers willing to address both these issues, we welcome the town center to the community. Next is Teresa Pratt at 10836 Farragut Hills Boulevard. In regards to the proposed building of an apartment complex on Concord Road, I confess I was shocked to learn of this since this was drastically changed the landscape and makeup of our community drastically. My concerns begin with tiny Concord Road. The road is already congested as it is the route to North Shore Drive, and many folks who live back there, as well as those of us along the way. Adding another 300 plus vehicles to that road would not be wise or safe. School traffic puts another strain on the traffic flow on Concord Road, and adding 300 plus vehicles to those busy mornings with folks trying to get to work would be disastrous. We already have trouble getting in and out of our neighborhood now. Speaking of schools, our Farragut schools are already full. Can we even add potentially 200 more families with children who need to attend? Going from the antique barn, heartbroken when it burned down, and lovely fields fields where we often see wildlife to apartments. I can only imagine that Farragut must have new leaders who are not connected to our community and climate at all. We had been known for our hometown field and our top schools and our beautiful landscape. Please consider the negative impact this project will have on our Farragut community. Thank you. Next is Brent Mostiak, 10828 Farragut Hills Boulevard. I am a current resident of Farragut Hills. This property has been in my family's possession since 1985. We've seen a lot of changes to the area over the decades and have certainly paid our fair share of taxes to the town of Farragut during that time frame. I have recently learned of this proposed development and find it concerning for multiple reasons. First is traffic in and out of Concord Hills. It's a large one-entrance neighborhood which has become increasingly dangerous to enter and exit over the years. We have no choice to try an alternate route to avoid the heavy condensed traffic during the morning and evening rush. Is there a plan to make Concord Road 4 lanes to alleviate this, what is already dangerous? The idea of allowing a 300-unit apartment complex to be built in an already condensed traffic area right by the Farragut schools, also dangerous concerning traffic in our neighborhood, seems to be poor planning when your fellow citizens in the area are concerned. Other concerns are the decrease in property values we will be facing due to this development. It certainly won't raise our property values. Next, let's see, are the Farragut schools ready for the influx of extra students? They were crowded when I attended in the 90s. This is a premium property centrally located in Farragut. Over the years, I've been excited to see what would happen when the farm in my front yard finally sold, knowing Farragut has always protected its own concerning development. Is this the best idea we can come up with for this area? My understanding is that we have to change town's building codes to allow for the height of the development to be legal. We can do better and make this area the best part of Farragut, not a logistical nightmare for those of us who live nearby. Next comment is from Phyllis Johnson, 11200 Crown Point Drive. Please delay rezoning of Old Kroger/Bill Farms property until more study regarding safety on Concord Road and impact on neighborhood and schools. Living off Concord Road, the current level of traffic can be difficult during rush hours, school and work. Those 60 feet buildings are not in keeping with the aesthetics or predominant single-family dwellings that define the community of Farragut. Next, letters from Elizabeth. I have no idea how to pronounce her last name, sorry. 11117 Pleasant First Drive. To whom it concerns, it has come to my attention that there is a proposed rezoning of the Old Kroger/Bill Farms property for a redevelopment to a 291-unit high-density community and retail town center across from my subdivision, Concord Hills. While I support growth in a community, I have major concerns related around this proposal. Additional traffic to be added to Concord Road is significant based on the nearly 500 parking spaces allocated for these apartments. As you may be aware, Concord Hills traffic entering and leaving the neighborhood is already very challenging during mornings and evenings due to the existing explosive development our town has had. This specific project will significantly add additional traffic and safety issues. Also, I am extremely concerned about the proposal to change existing Farragut code to allow for an increase in height for this building, nearly 60 feet tall. One item that attracted our family to this community was a small town feel. With a large building of this size, it seems that we are removing the quaintness of the community with such a large structure. Please take our community's concerns seriously and reevaluate this current proposal. Next is from Phil Leach, 11125 Pleasant Forest Drive. We have lived in Concord Hills for over 30 years and have watched the traffic problem escalate where it's extremely hard to get out in the morning. Several wrecks have occurred on Concord Road as a result. We realize that the retail center will be good for the community. However, the apartments will put extreme pressure on our infrastructure. The next letter is emails from Bernard Roche. I strongly oppose this development as proposed. The area from Campbell Station Road to Concord Road along Kingston Pike and down both Concord Road and Campbell Station Road is arguably already the most traffic congested area of Farragut. It bounds Farragut High, middle, and intermediate schools, and adding this congestion is a hazard to the parents and children going to and from the schools. We have already made a mess of this area with the ugly food truck edifice, which looks like some sort of prison to me. The thing makes a mockery of the beautiful park and restoration of the Campbell Station Inn just across Campbell Station Road and Kingston Pike. According to the U.S. Census Bureau's most recent data, Farragut averages 2.69 persons per household at a density of 1.413 persons or 1,413 persons per square mile. What is proposed equates to a population density of 123,552 persons per square mile, immediately across from the entrance to Farragut High School. If this is permitted here, what is to stop developers from insisting on the same thing throughout Farragut? This puts 589 more vehicles in this congested area, based on the Farragut average of 2 vehicles per household, as reported on the Data USA website. This sort of population density may also attract various sorts of crime against persons and property. I submit that this is a for-profit effort on behalf of developers, and it's definitely not the highest and best use of the property, at least not from the perspective of safety and security in Farragut. I believe the safety and security of the town must take precedence over our developers' rights, whether real or imagined. We fought against this sort of thing when the town was being formed, and we should do so now. The overriding issue then was annexation by Knoxville. If we formed Citizens for Home Rule to successfully oppose that effort, rest assured, for those of us who were involved, there was also great concern over the types of development that might have come with the increased taxes. Allowing this development flies in the face of the efforts that were made for Farragut. Next is from Gary and Eleanor Abbott, 11001 and 11005 Crown Point Drive. I have a few questions about the new high-density apartments in Town Center. Supposedly there was a survey regarding the new Town Center. Out of approximately 20,000 Farragut residents, how many were surveyed? Where are the results? How many in the survey currently live in Farragut today? I've witnessed, somebody's got their mic on, not sure who it is. Might be Betty. Alright, I've witnessed most of the Biddle farms underwater from heavy rains many times. What is the plan to control flooding in this area? Schools are already at capacity. What plans for additional schools are in place to be executed for the influx of additional students? What plans are in place to relieve traffic congestion? How many more accidents do you need on intersection Concord Road and Farragut Hills Boulevard, not to mention Campbell Station and Concord Road intersections of Kingston Pike? Next comment is from Matt Fosley. express my opinion on the proposed community/retail center where the old Kroger building is located. I do not think this is a good idea for our community. While it can provide income, clean up the shopping center, it will add so many other issues that homeowners in suburban Farragut are not willing to accept. A few of these issues will be increased traffic on a 2-lane road in front of neighborhood entrances. Concord Road is already heavily traveled by individuals not living off the street. Decrease in property value due to apartment condos being built, increased school enrollment to an already crowded system, and safety concerns. I've seen centers like this built in suburban areas when I lived in Atlanta, Charlotte, and Chicago. While the addition of retail dining is nice, the addition of multifamily developments comes at a cost. We moved from the Knox County area to be an acquired part of West Knoxville to get away from exactly this. I believe this will cause some individuals to move out of the local Farragut area and break up such a great community. Concord Hills HOA has asked for a delay in the rezoning. I would ask that the rezoning isn't passed. Next comment is Debbie P. from 1081801. Somebody's getting too much speaker on. I am writing to request a delay in rezoning of this property until the traffic and safety issues have been fully addressed in this area, especially on Concord Road. There are already traffic problems on Concord Road due to explosive development to the south and west of the area, so that needs to be considered. I also ask that you limit the development so that we retain the rural and natural feel to the area we love here. Obviously, the old Kroger area needs to be developed, but please don't go overboard with high-density apartments and a huge retail area. Can it be done on a smaller scale to retain the feel of a town versus a city? Next comments are from Brian and Olga. Cal at 11036 Crosswind Drive. As a 33-year resident in Knox County and a 10-year resident in Farragut, I'm disturbed to learn of the plans to add high-density housing in the heart of Farragut on the site of the former Kroger and Bill Farms properties. Allowing additional construction of high-density housing in this area without first addressing fundamental infrastructure issues that are already significant problems, specifically roads, traffic, and school capacities, is a complete abrogation of the Farragut and Commission's responsibilities for well thought out planning and growth. Such approval is beneath the town of Farragut. We moved to Farragut in part to escape from this type of ill-planned development that benefits on the developers at the expense of long-term residents that is all too common in Knox County. Concord Road cannot take the current level of traffic on it, much less the dramatic increase that almost certainly will accompany the development of high-density housing adjacent to it. At a minimum, Concord Road should be widened and modified to put in traffic calming circles at each of the intersections south of Kingston Pike, or possibly traffic lights prior to the approval of the rezoning. It is very difficult to enter and exit Concord Hills already during periods of high traffic volume. As you are well aware, there are no other points of egress from the neighborhood. The student pedestrian traffic along Concord Road will surely be put at additional risk were the development to proceed as proposed. Farragut schools have been at or above capacity the entire time we have lived in Farragut. The addition of high-density apartments will exacerbate that overcrowding significantly. Quality of Farragut schools was a primary driver in their decision to move to Farragut. Municipal Planning Commission owes the current appearance and explanation of how the increased student population arising from additional high-density housing can be accommodated, because this is far from obvious. Installation of additional trailers at the schools should not be considered adequate compensatory measure. The water quality of Turkey Creek is already badly damaged as a result of the development of the upper portions of the watershed 20 years ago. Properties in question are in the floodplain for Turkey Creek, and the potential for significant further degradation to the water quality from high-density housing. The other associated parking complex should be taken into consideration in terms of non-point source pollution and peak runoff. I'm not against development per se, and understand that the owners of the former Kroger commercial property have rights to develop the property within the existing laws, codes, and authorizations. However, if I understand correctly, changes to the Farragut Code will be required to accommodate the proposed high-density housing. That fact should be clearly explained to all of the current residents of Farragut. Generally speaking, residents of Farragut move to this fine town to escape from uncontrolled development of the sort proposed. And I don't think many, if any, residents will support code changes to accommodate high-density housing. Like most current residents, I acknowledge that eventually all of the good parcels area will be developed, including the beautiful middle farms. Development in the form of a typical Farragut neighborhood, freestanding single-family homes on decent-sized lots, is to be expected, but not the development of a high-density housing and retail center. Finally, the property values in Farragut are higher than those in the immediate surrounding area, specifically because of the town's long-standing adherence to rules governing development. Any thought that development will enhance property values is fallacious. Proposed rezoning of the property as requested from the retail town center and the high-density apartment complex should be rejected by the Farragut Planning Commission. Proposed development is incompatible with the Farragut that we moved here to enjoy. Please don't make Farragut another Cedar Bluff area. Next comment is from Hayden Oakley, Concord Hills Homeowners Association Board, 11103 Crown Point Drive. Dear Farragut Board Mayor, Alderman, and Farragut Municipal Planning Commission. This letter is to inform you that the Concord Hills HOA Board voted to formally request that this rezoning request be delayed for further review/study. Our primary concern is the safety traffic issue that would be caused by the high-density housing currently proposed. We would ask that a traffic study be done prior to any further advancement in this process, and also allow for further community discussions in regards to the specific proposed development, particularly direct feedback from Concord Hills residents. We only have one entrance exit onto an already highly trafficked two-lane road that cannot be widened at our entrance. Please strongly consider our request as the HOA Board neighborhood with over 360 homes. Thank you so much. Next comment is from Jen Oakley, 11103 Crown Point Drive. I'm a resident of Concord Hills and have concerns surrounding the proposed rezoning of the old Kroger. I would love for independent boutique shops to go in there. However, I don't think that is the correct solution if it comes with apartments 60 feet tall and requires 500 parking spaces. Please, at the very least, review the safety traffic issues that this would cause on Concord Road, and with my neighborhood only having the one entrance exit. We moved to Farragut for beauty and schools. Schools are already gigantic and overcrowded as it is. Please don't ruin this side of Farragut. Add to the overcrowding and further congest traffic for one of the oldest neighborhoods in the town. We really think highly concerning the town of Farragut, and are so hoping you guys will do the right thing this time. Please don't agree to this rezoning if it brings apartments. I'd love to see that space filled, but not like this. Thank you for listening. Next comment is from John Anker. He's at 1111 Crown Point Drive. I'm a 21-year resident of Concord Hills subdivision, town of Farragut. It's critical that the town and Farragut Mayor and Commissioners delay the rezoning decision. Further review of the health and safety repercussions that will compound due to the traffic congestion that will increase the congestion that we already have. Concord Hills subdivision only has one entrance exit, and we are already risking our lives every time we exit onto Concord Road from our subdivision. This area of Farragut and Turkey Creek Commercial are trapped between two of the busiest local exits on I-40 Level Road and Campbell Station. All it takes is an accident or construction on I-40 to turn our traffic flow into an Atlanta 4 p.m. Backed up bumper-to-bumper traffic jam. We don't need another malfunction junction. Do I have to mention Farragut High School and its probable student plus traffic explosion? I doubt that a fire truck ambulance will make it to Concord Hills under certain conditions of traffic congestion, hence a health and safety disaster. I can understand the economic value to our town that the proposed property development adds, but Farragut citizens deserve the opportunity to input their foreseeable problems and to expect the town to propose solutions before rezoning approval. Some potential solutions might be to design and construct a second entrance exit to Concord Hills if possible, or maybe move the development further west near the Watt Road exit where traffic absorption would be more dispersed and leave the traffic flow near the center of the town. So again, I'm requesting a delay in the rezoning decision for further review of these safety and traffic issues, and also giving ample time for Farragut town citizens' input. Next comment is from James and Carol Taylor, 11108 Wentworth Drive. My husband and I both think the idea of 291 units of high-density apartments in this neighborhood, especially in such close proximity to the students in our high school, is not prudent. We fear for the temptations, drugs, sexual exploitation, truancy that these apartments might provide. We have lived in Concord Hills since 1977. We choose to live here for pastoral atmosphere, peace and quiet and beauty. We do not want to have the hustle and bustle of so many more people and cars and trucks congesting our streets. It's hard enough already to exit onto Concord Road. Commercial aspects of the old Kroger property seem okay, but not these apartments. Next comment is Drew Lancaster from 10928 Farragut Hills Boulevard. Resident of Concord Hills here. I ask you to vote no on the rezoning proposal for the old Kroger Middle Farm development. This development isn't in the best interest of all of Farragut in the long term, in my opinion. This plan has serious flaws, starting with the negative impact on the aesthetics of Farragut. The traffic flow and impact on the adjoining high school location hasn't been completely thought out. The request for increased height, are you serious? The traffic flow on Concord Road is horrible right now. Add in this development and you will have instant gridlock. Next comment is from the Aikens at 10901 Lookout Point. We would construction of high-density apartment units on that site. As residents of Farragut for 29 years, we cannot imagine the impact of introducing 291 60-foot high apartment buildings into our community. Has anyone given consideration to the effect of approximately 500 additional cars flowing out into the surrounding roads? We already have trouble getting out of Concord Hills subdivision due to the backup of traffic at the Concord Campbell Station Road traffic light, which regularly extends to Kingston Pike. Late afternoon, we often have to keep driving west to Campbell Station Road to circle back to Concord Road to be able to enter Concord Hills. Where will the extra traffic line up into Kingston Pike? In addition to the traffic problems that we believe is a nightmare waiting to happen, we are also concerned that high-density apartments located at the center of the town will be a catalyst to change the very nature of the area where the diversity of house styles and values in Farragut subdivisions is what attracted us to and others here in the first place. Please do not permit this to be destroyed through rezoning. Thank you. Next comment is from Robin Mostiak, 10828 Farragut Hills Boulevard. Good morning. I am a resident of Concord Hills and would like to voice my opinion on the rezoning request for the old Kroger Biddle Farms property in Farragut. Concord Hills traffic is already very congested and is only one entrance and exit. Building a 300-unit apartment complex would significantly complicate our traffic issues further. In addition to the safety of entering and exit our neighborhood, the widening of Concord Road leading to the roundabout, while needed, has already made traffic difficult in the mornings and evenings, and a new apartment complex would make it unbearable. Farragut High School is already overcrowded and it's hard to navigate that area during school hours when students are coming and going. Adding more students would be even more of a nightmare. Please do not allow this rezoning effort to pass. Next comment is from Doc Pratt at 10836 Farragut Hills Boulevard. In regards to the proposed building of the apartment complex on Concord Road, I was shocked to learn of this since this would have a very negative impact on our community. My concerns begin with 2-lane Concord Road, which is already congested as it is the route to North Shore Drive, and the many folks who live back there, as well as those of us along the way. Adding potentially 500 vehicles on that road would not be wise or safe. School traffic puts another strain on the traffic flow on Concord Road. Adding that many vehicles to those busy mornings with folks trying to get to work would be disastrous. We already have trouble getting in and out of our neighborhood and during either morning or afternoon rush hour. It is virtually impossible to turn left as it is. It is my understanding that Concord Road and Farragut Hills Boulevard can never be widened because of the cemetery. Farragut schools are already full. Can we even add a potentially 291 more families with children who need to attend? Please consider the negative impact this project of adding 291 apartment units will have on our Farragut community. I'm not opposed to commercial development, especially the old Kroger property, but I am opposed to adding 291 apartment units. That would have a disastrous impact on our community. Next comment is from Christy Arcario, 405 Monitor Lane. I would love to see something nice happen to the old Kroger, but I really don't think a huge apartment complex is the answer. Schools are so overcrowded, as is the traffic on Concord Hills and Concord Road Station. The Campbell Station is already at such a high volume. There is so much construction already going on off North Shore that brings nothing for the aesthetics of a town. I love Farragut for so many reasons, but that is definitely one of them. Please don't overcrowd us. Thank you for your time. Next comment is from Jim Frula, 11108 Flotilla Drive, dear Commissioners. I'm completely opposed to proposed changes to existing code to allow for increasing the height of the Biddle Farm apartments to nearly 60 feet. I vote in every election and have lived in Concord Hills since 1982. I have been grateful to the town of Farragut on many occasions for maintaining and improving the quality of the town. Allowing tall apartments in this location is ridiculous and seems to be a sellout to developers. The increased congestion will not benefit our citizen residents. Please do not change the existing code. Thank you. Next comment is Elizabeth Ritchie, 11029 Flotilla Drive. I've been a resident of Concord Hills and Farragut for 38 years and experienced the development of this area from fields and sheep at the intersection of Cedar Bluff and Kingston Pike to its current location, its current level of development as far as Avalon. The majority of the development has been thoughtful and well developed. However, this new idea of 291 unit high-density apartments across Concord Hills is a ridiculous endeavor and threatens the safety and well-being of the entire community. Concord Hills purposefully has only one entrance exit, and it is on the Concord Road at Pleasant Forest Cemeteries, which I would assume precludes any widening of the road. The addition of at least 291 new residents would add untold amounts of traffic, which would make it virtually impossible to navigate Concord Road during the best times, let alone during peak times or at times of bad weather. Please put the well-being of the current residents of the community above the poorly thought-out plan for financial gain. Consider a park, fitness trail, gathering area. Next comment is Sherry Bunessen, 406 Moser Lane. I'm writing in opposition to the proposed rezoning of the old Kroger Biddle Farms property. I moved to Concord Hills subdivision about 27 years ago for its quiet, rural setting in close proximity to an excellent school system. As Farragut has grown, the ability to exit Concord Hills subdivision on the Concord Road during rush hour has become steadily worse, even dangerous. During most of the week, there is now traffic noise from Kingston Pike and from the Concord Road, Campbell Station Road area, which can be heard in some areas of Concord Hills as a persistent hum. The addition of this high-density apartment complex at this location will exacerbate both traffic and noise pollution for residents in Concord Hills. Prior to rezoning for this type of development, I asked that the following be taken into consideration to assess the impact on all Farragut residents as well as specific concerns of the nearby subdivisions which would be most impacted by this construction. These concerns include traffic flow problems, exits, entrances, gridlock, speeding, bicycle safety, pedestrian safety. 2, noise pollution due to increased traffic flow during rush hour and throughout the day. 3, light pollution in high-rise apartment complexes. 4, air pollution, more cars traveling into and out of the area on a daily basis. 5, stormwater management. Is this area located in the middle of a flood zone? Sinkholes, is there a sinkhole located in this area? 7, increased number of students at the school. 8, parking problems. The Knox County schools provide more busing for Farragut High School students who normally drive to school and use the old Kroger parking lot during school hours. Will the number of parking spaces be sufficient cars tow illegally parked cars. Infrastructure maintenance and repair, number 9, who pays for this as systems age and need to be expanded, upgraded to meet increased demands like sewer system, clean water, road repair, parking lot resurfacing, etc. And 10, loss of natural open space and subsequent displacement of the wildlife. In addition to the concerns listed above, high-rise apartment buildings are out of character with the surrounding residential neighborhoods. Farragut Town Center should be designed to enhance and support what makes Farragut a desirable place to live. That is the natural beauty of the area, a relaxing atmosphere, the excellent school system, interesting wildlife, vegetation, and the open spaces. Please do not approve rezoning this location. Thank you for your consideration of my concerns. Next comment, Deborah Hammer, 11137 Windward Drive. Without hesitation, numerous good has come from wise decisions, and you are to be applauded. However, I feel sure a traffic study has not been measured. It takes 30 to 45 minutes to reach a school from less than 1 mile away. In the afternoons, traffic is worse and backed up to Biddle Farm or further to reach Campbell Station. You want to add an additional 500 plus cars to this nightmare. Please factor in more than a profit and look at things in the long run. Have you encountered Campbell Station in the afternoon? I encourage you to try to go south from Campbell Station on 75, especially on a Friday. Farragut is not prepared for this. The schools are already deplorable in structure, amenities, and the crowds. Teachers are missing. You want to add more students. Please consider realistic facts to this overall big picture. And the last comment is from Mike Mitchell at 716 Brixworth Boulevard. I'm disappointed and frustrated in the lack of public input and the lack of vital studies on the proposed apartments and retail space at the old Kroger and Biddle Farms. Back in 2005, the original Farragut Town Center was proposed as something like Market Square Mall in downtown Knoxville. Mixed-use project, retail on the first floor, condos on the second and third floor. Back then in 2005, the idea of 280 apartments across from Farragut High School and Middle School was not considered. It should not be considered now. This is too large a departure from the original 2005 Farragut Town Center plan. This new proposed Farragut Town Center is not really a mixed-use project. It is 2 strip malls with a grass median between them and way too many apartments for this location. This does not elevate Farragut. It makes Farragut worse. This project should be delayed until the residents of Farragut can be heard. It should be delayed until a traffic study and hydrology flooding study can be reviewed. There has been talk from the mayor and vice mayor about how the majority of residents support a town center. Myself and others have asked to see the Novak consulting study that the mayor and vice mayor used to support their claim. This past week, Wendy Smith wrote in Knox 10 Today, in 2017, a survey conducted by Novak Consulting as part of an update to the town's strategic plan asked residents how important a vibrant downtown is to the future of Farragut. 74% said it was important. I was told, as others have been, that we have to fill out an open records request for this public document. I believe this is a violation of the Tennessee Open Meetings Act. Why is there so much resistance? Why is there so much resistance is complying with residents' requests for public documents by the town of Farragut? concludes the citizen comments.